Squirrels are a real important part of Michigan outdoors, and there's probably no better expert on them than Extension Specialist Glenn Dutterer.
Actually, squirrels are born 2 times a year, once in March and then once in late August or early September. Most of them are born in the spring, but there's usually a late birth in the fall, especially if conditions are good and mom gets enough food over the summer to produce some young squirrels.
Huh. Well, that means that each female squirrel produces how many during the course of the summer?
Well, she can produce 2 litters and often 3 to 4 per litter, so that can be as many as 6 to 8 squirrels per year, and that's not too unusual.
Well, if you add that up and you look at how many squirrels you're going to need to maintain the population by the next spring,
it means a lot of squirrels don't make it over the year, and 60% mortality rate, that many dying over the year, is not unusual. And of course, unfortunately, a lot of these young squirrels born in the early fall are the ones that don't make it. These guys maybe have a 20-30% chance of survival.
What, over the winter?
Over the winter. Even if they weren't hand-raised, if they were born and raised wild and so forth, their survival rate's still fairly low.
Well, what's going to happen to them?
Well, they're being nursed now. We nurse them out of an eyedropper with a concoction of different milks and sugars and a little bit of egg. But as they wean and learn to eat acorns and walnuts and hickory nuts, we'll find a place a lot like this where there's trees and food on the ground and turn them loose. And
Whoops.
Of course, you can see they're brother and sister and have been raised together.
Well, what's going to happen to them, though, throughout the winter? What are the hazards that they're going to have to face?
Well, if they were in an urban area, mange would be a big hazard. Mange is a big killer of squirrels in urban areas. In woods like this, predators such as hawks and owls, starvation, particularly when the snow gets deep and there's a crust on it, and exposure to weather and the diseases that would come from exposure. So,
pneumonia and so on?
Pneumonia.
What's the biggest problem that these squirrels are going to face?
Probably a shortage of food. It can be very, very difficult to find food when everything's iced over, and so starvation and the diseases that would go with that are probably their biggest threat.
Where will they be living?
Well,
in the crotch of a tree, in a hole in a tree, in a leaf nest?
Well, in the wintertime, they'll be up in the big holes in the trees. You can see here on some of these trees behind us.
Right there, there's 2 of them.
Yeah, 1 in each tree. And so in woods with large trees, there are cavities where the wood has rotted out of the heart of the tree, and then the squirrels gnaw around the living bark to keep it opening. But then in the spring and summer, mom builds leaf nests. And so these young guys were born in a leaf nest, and a lot of squirrels are born in leaf nests. Those are those big, ragged nests you see where the leaves just hanging all over in every direction way up in the top of trees.